Well, good morning, Armory. Coming at you today with another daily Dwell video. The Dwell series just refers to the reading material we've decided as a church to go through together, and it mostly follows through the Gospel of Matthew. And if you haven't been following along with us, in the description below, I'll try to post the reading plan that we've been going through. You don't have to catch up or anything. You can just start with today's reading and follow along with it in that way. And my recommendation is that you read through it on your own. The point is for you to read through, which literally today would only take you half a minute, and then the rest of the time dwell on it, think through it, pray through it, ask the Lord, what are you teaching me today? How is your word gonna change me today? So do that, dwell on it for a little while, respond in any way that need be, whether that be prayer, speaking to somebody about it, and then you can come back, watch the video, and just see what the Lord was sharing with me this morning. Today is a little off the beaten path from Matthew. Every Sunday we get to go into the Psalms, and so today was Psalm 130, which is a song of ascent, and I believe that was the reason why they're called that, is these are the songs that pilgrims would sing as they would ascend to Jerusalem, as they'd climb the hill, make the journey. I think that's why those are referred to as that. And I believe this is the first one of several. Quite a few of the following ones are called Song of Ascents. But anyway, this one, what really struck me was just the very beginning of it. And the first verse says, "Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my pleas for mercy." And pretty much any time in Scripture where we see that word depths, oftentimes it refers to the sea. It often refers to the ocean. And typically the people of Israel weren't keen on the water. I don't think they were known as seafarers or anything, but they were more land-dwelling people. But I think it refers to typically as chaos or some sort of grave danger, difficulty, agony. I'm thinking of times where that might have been the case. Jonah having been cast into the depths of the belly of the whale and the great fish. Pharaoh's people, or the army of Pharaoh, being cast in the depths. There's all sorts of times where it's referred to as the depths of Sheol, or the depths of the earth, and the depths of the pit. All these moments where it really is like, this is a bad spot to be in. This is not a happy place. I've been in the depths, and I think that maybe for a lot of us, we have experienced some form of the depths, a difficult, trying season where it's there's some problem, there's some issue that seems overwhelming, and you're not able to overcome. In fact, it feels almost as if you're drowning, as if you would love to cry out and get help, but you're unable to. And those are the really dark hours, the dark days of the soul. And when we experience those things, they can be incredibly difficult, uncomfortable. But the author here writes out that it's out of those depths that I cry out to you. Hear my voice, be attentive to the voice of my pleas for mercy. And I think there's three action words that I noticed throughout here. The first one being, I cry to you, O Lord, and that we can cry out to God, and he's going to hear us no matter what, even if we are in the midst of the depths, the difficult times. the depths of the sea, and we can cry out for mercy. I think this psalm and many others would encourage us to do that. But it goes right from this problem, right from describing some sort of difficulty that he's facing, the depths. That's why I chose this spot, is because I've got my little pond behind me, right? The depths. When it feels like you're just underwater, you can't breathe. We cry out for mercy. But what was interesting is it goes right from that to this concept of our sin and forgiveness. The next few verses, it's not referring to like, oh, God just solved my problem. God got me out of that mess. No, it says, if you, O Lord, should mark iniquities, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there's forgiveness, that you may be feared. And I think that's, I was challenged and encouraged with that idea, that to go from that problem, the depths that might just seem overwhelming, he then recognizes that the real thing that's overwhelming is our iniquities, our sin. Who could stand against the Lord in that? But with you there is forgiveness, that you might be feared. And so a lot of the time when we're in the midst of our problem, whatever that problem might be, it seems like it's the problem. We end up recognizing that the true problem is our sin, and that's something that the Lord also can only deal with, and we need him to deal with it. And I think that's why we oftentimes, when we find ourselves in a problem, in a difficulty, God really shows us what the other problem is, the real problem below the surface. And so then that's not ever a comfortable experience, but a necessary one that the psalmist recognizes. So he starts out saying, I cry for you. That's the first thing. And then he also says, I wait for the Lord. My soul waits. And in his word, I hope. So there's I wait, and then also I hope. And then he actually encourages the people of Israel to hope in verse 7. O Israel, hope in the Lord. And but before getting into the concept of hope, the other thing I really liked in this that stood out to me was verse 6, where he says, my soul waits for the Lord more than the watchman for the morning, more than watchmen for the morning. And I'm not a Hebrew scholar, and so I don't know if repeating that line, more than watchmen for the morning, that he's waiting for the Lord more than the watchmen for the morning, more than watchmen for the morning. I don't know if that's just like a chorus, because remember, this is a song sung by people. I don't know if that's just the chorus because it rhymed really well or something, or if he repeated that line because it's important. And if it is repeating that line because it's important, the watchman for the morning is a wonderful description of the people of Israel literally watching, waiting for the morning, waiting for the Messiah, waiting for the new day to come. And the watchmen are oftentimes, through scripture and in prophecies and whatnot, they're referred to as the religious leaders, the leaders of Israel. These are people who are supposed to be watching for the morning. And I just love how the psalmist describes his soul waiting for the Lord. He wants to be with God. He's waiting to hear from him. And he's longing for that more than the watchmen, more than even the leaders, religious leaders watching for the morning, in that sense. And so that's the way that our souls need to be waiting, longing for the Lord, is more than those who would be waiting for the morning. And then, yes, to hope in the Lord. And he says that I hope in the Lord, but he also encourages Israel, hope in the Lord. And the reasons he gives for that is because there's steadfast love in the Lord and plentiful redemption. He will redeem Israel from all of their iniquities, all of their sin. And so we hope in him. And we know that we'll find love, steadfast love there, and lots of redemption. So whatever that situation might be that you start out in, crying out to the Lord in the depths of despair, this psalm ends in the concept that there's steadfast love and a plenty of redemption, that God can even redeem that difficult situation, and He'll redeem all of Israel, all of His people, from all iniquities. And so that is an encouraging thought, a very encouraging psalm this morning. So curious to hear what you guys got from it. So feel free to leave a comment, what you've been learning. And yeah, I'm excited about, we're gonna be listening to Pastor Andrew today and in Sunday morning. And I just can't wait to spend that time with you guys. And then we'll see each other. We'll see each other soon on Tuesday through Zoom. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your morning, and do pay attention to the Sunday study. And we'll be sending out some questions via text right after the message for your parents and you to talk about. So do ask them about that. Ask them what were the questions. Let's talk about those, and then show them that you know how to answer questions in small group format like that, as we've been doing that on Sundays before COVID-19, of course. But we'll be back doing that soon. And yeah, my prayer is that that through this, even though this already is a depth for many of us, a difficult moment, my prayer is that this is as deep as it gets for you guys, and that we get to stay on the shallow end of the pool to that regard. But if we do end up going deeper, if we do wade into deeper waters, hold on to this psalm. Remember to cry out to the Lord for mercy. Find your forgiveness in Him, and wait for Him, and then hope in Him. He'll get us through it, and He'll redeem. So trust in the Redeemer, guys. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.